successful. We had like 4,000 people there.
Wow.
It was super nice.
So you're an expert. You got. Maybe you should. We'll switch positions. You can interview me then. y'all are very experienced. So are we live?
Yes, now we
We
should
should be.
be live, and yes, I am seeing us.
We're here.
Here.
Yeah.
There we are. We're
Very
live.
good.
Cool. So there's the camera. Great.
Oh my God, you're in the TV.
We're on TV. This is nerve-wracking. Well, here we go. Thank you for joining me.
It's just gonna be us three.
Chat. Yeah, it's just gonna be us three.
Do this.
Do the
Okay.
pillow? All right, cool. Well, I'm Nick Young. I'm the co-founder of TBook, and I'm sitting here with Ekin, co-founder of Ton Society, and Helena, head of community for Ton Society. Thanks for spending time sitting down with me.
Thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you so much for everyone that's joining us right now live. This is another live stream from the offline event that's happening right now in Seoul. So I'm extremely happy to welcome all of the Dawn Society viewers that are watching us right now on our live streams. And I'm extremely happy that TBook is initiating this live stream, and we are tagging TBook on our posts. So if anyone wants to check what Nick is building.
Yeah. Well, we're building incentive infrastructure for the Ton ecosystem. So you can check that out. You can launch incentive campaigns with TBook. You can mint SBTs, you can design your own SBTs and publish seamlessly to Ton Society. So we can talk a little bit more about that. But I just wanted to just get right into the conversation with you guys. First of all, welcome to Korea. We're all here at KBW, Korea Blockchain Week. It's a little crazy. How are you holding up? What's your first impressions of everything that's going on?
Amazing.
I arrived 2 days ago, so I've had some time to walk around Seoul, and I really love the city. I love the vibes, and I love that the people are very friendly and nice, and everyone wants to help.
Yeah.
How was that for you? You arrived today.
First
right?
time in Korea, right?
Yeah, first time, and I mean, I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I thought it was like, it's Korea Blockchain Week. Every time you think it's like, it's a big event, but this is really big. I mean,
Yeah.
10,000 people, it's a lot.
And what events are you planning for this week? I mean, you're going to be here through the weekend, right?
Yeah, actually Ton is sponsoring Korea Blockchain Week, so we have a booth at the main conference, and we are all hanging out there, the whole team. If anyone right now is in Seoul, please go meet our team at the main conference. But in addition to that, we are hosting a large side event tonight. So we are going to be connecting with our community, with all of the investors, builders, founders, activists, enthusiasts, and everyone that's coming to the Korea conference or that lives in Seoul. Yeah, hosting it at the People Terrace, just saying, for everyone that's in Korea right now. And besides that, we co-host lots of events. That's all on Luma. The Society Korea are amazing guys, Lucy and Sean. If you have not yet met the Society Korea team, please do meet our team. They are doing a great job to distribute the SBTs.
Yeah.
And to co-host the events and do lots of fun parties. There has been a couple of very fun parties in Korea so far.
Fun parties. We'll leave this, we'll edit this part out of the fun parties. We'll put it at the end, put the good stuff at the end so people stay. But we'll talk about SBTs in a little bit. I mean, you've been really busy here in Korea. You have a lot of events planned, but I imagine you've been very busy just because Ton Society has recently gone solo.
Yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about that, the thinking there, that transition, and what are the things that are keeping you up at night with this big change?
Well, I mean, it's the kind of transition to being a decentralized community, really. So our long-term mission is to hand over the keys to all the local communities and become fully decentralized. We're here still a little bit to coordinate, but this is kind of the first step in that direction. So we came together, and after a long time of planning, we were able to make something that we really think kind of resonates with what the community wants, and allows also the hubs that we have, the syndicate members, all the different kind of moving parts to operate a little bit more independently. And as we go further, like, the idea definitely is that everything will be totally decentralized, and that's the goal for us.
So it's really about empowering the community then?
100%.
Yeah.
It's all about that. Everything we do is just for the community. We have some functions where we do like PR, we do some marketing related things, but our goal is to transition towards being kind of the I don't know, news outlet, kind of community support, to just like facilitate.
And would you say, like, for a lot of the development teams that are interested in building in the Ton ecosystem, is Ton Society that first touch point to get information about what it would be like to build on Ton and to connect with other development teams on Ton?
Yeah, I mean 100%. Yeah, it's the best place. So there's ton.org, there's society.ton.org, and for community, like we really like looking to connect the community to the projects. And we have a couple of like builder programs actually. We launched Ton Nest. Helena, do you want to maybe?
Ton Nest.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm talking about Ton Nest for the past 3 or 4 weeks non-stop, but this is a very nice and cozy and a very supportive program for all of the early projects. I used to say that it's for the early builders, but now I see that there's so many experienced teams applying, and there's so many experienced founders that are maybe just first-time blockchain founders or maybe first-time, these vertical founders, but there's lots of very interesting and genuinely good and great projects that are applying to the Ton Nest program, which is the program that supports the early projects on their journey to the first traction. So that's the program that we launched in order to get as much support and as much expertise and knowledge shared with those projects that are at the idea stage or just the MVP stage. So everyone that is just starting their building journey, that is just setting up the first ever mini app for the project that has just created the GitHub repository is welcome to apply to the Ton Nest. And the Ton Nest, I think the most fun and the most useful part of the Ton Nest is that the builders that are applying, they all have the same goal. They just want to launch their project, they want to succeed, they want to grow their own app, they want to grow the ecosystem. So in this community there is lots of synergies and lots of consensus on what the builders want to achieve, and that helps them partner. And that's like a sandbox for partnering. We all know that for the blockchain projects this is inevitable to do partnerships. You have to collaborate, you have to meet other projects. That's why we're all here in Korea. We're kind of meeting, networking, finding the projects that are building something that would fit our project or that would make our project better. We're finding how to do things better together. And Ton Nest allows to do all of that online, and not only in the chat manner, but I'm also doing lots of online face-to-face activities. So we are connecting with the mentors in Zoom breakout rooms, we are connecting with each other, the projects are connecting with each other on the networking sessions. That Ton Nest right now is an experiment. We are trying to see if we are able to handle all of the early projects in one place, if we are able to create this environment that will help projects grow, and it's working very well as of now. So I hope that this is going to just be growing, and I hope that we are also going to see TBook team mentoring the projects.
TBook team mentoring.
Yeah.
Sign up.
And there's many more ecosystem projects that that are coming and mentoring and helping with the advice and expertise. That's not the short brief.
That's the short introduction. But
I'm passionate about this.
I feel the passion. Woo, I feel the passion. And it makes me think back to actually a year ago when we started building TBook, and the help that we got from Ton Society was invaluable. So we've come a long way. We've helped. We've integrated a lot of on the product side with Ton Society with Ton Connect, so we can get access to user activity, so we can track users and what they're doing to launch our own incentive campaigns. But I think that what's been amazing is that we have a direct channel of communication with your team, and just like that feedback loop has been so important for builders, at least for our team. Now, would you say with Ton Nest, a lot of these new teams that are coming into the ecosystem, what would you say are some of the important characteristics to set themselves up for success?
Within Ton Nest or overall?
Well, let's say just an early team that's thinking about joining Ton Nest or building. What kind of things should they be thinking about if they want to be successful building on Ton?
I think that building a good project anyway comes down to what you are passionate about. So mostly the sessions that we are running for that level 1 projects that are just coming with their ideas or with very, very early stage apps, we are talking about what are the builder's passionate about, that is also useful and interesting for the users. Which is, I think that's just the ikigai. You remember this?
The 4 circles.
Yes.
You always look at the 4 circles, like how to build an ideal life, and it's like I only have one.
Yeah, and that's always like, even if you are building something on blockchain, it's still just the life. You have to find something that you're passionate about, that people will like, that will make the difference in the world, and that you are good at. That's something that you will be able to build. And Ton Nest, I think it just helps to find all of this four things in a faster manner, and just be faster with all of this product realizations. Because I think at Ton we kind of have most of the things now in place to have a successful product. We have the mechanics that you can use, and you can reuse the same onboarding techniques. You can reuse the viral onboarding things, viral user retention things. So that's very easy for the builders to now discover, integrate with their apps. And obviously the mini apps are very cool for the usability, for the user experience, and for the developer experience. So now you just have to find a good use for all of these dev things to make the products that people would use, or developers would use, that your audience will use eventually.
Yeah. But I love the word that you use, which is sandbox, right? Because you have to really be proactive about going out there and finding the tools, finding the other development teams, and potentially partners to work with to build a product together.
I just had a talk with one of the participants at Ton Nest, and we were talking about another applicant that didn't pitch yet. And so that participant told me, oh well, now I realize why you're doing the pitch sessions. That's the task for the builders, so that they activate and they start looking for the things, and they start being proactive with their own projects, because that's their application, and why they need to pitch, because they need to pitch in order to get to the Ton Nest program, is that they need to actually do this first step. They need to go out there and pitch in front of like 300 people audience, right? And 300 people, that's a lot for the early stage founders.
It's a lot.
You are not always that confident about your product.
It's a little scary.
Yeah, and it's not easy. I mean, if you know it, like building TBook, right?
Yeah.
You know, actually, how long have you guys been building?
We've been building for a little over a year now. Yeah. But it's been you're
There's
constantly pivoting.
Yeah, right.
Like I can't even remember what we were doing like at the very beginning, like what we wrote on the whiteboard, this is what we're gonna build. And it's a conversation back and forth, talking to you guys, seeing what the community needs, what other partners need, and iterating your way to something of value.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like when you're building, it's not easy. It's about the tenacity more than like having nobody really has the best idea at first go. You never know like what's the product that's gonna break it down to like 1 million people. So you're always gonna start with kind of like a failure, or like it's actually not gonna be a good product.
If you fail forward.
Exactly, you fail forward, and then this is the idea. I mean, like you're like in a group of people who face the same challenge, and like you're all rowing your boat in the same direction, right?
Yeah.
So this is the thing, like, and the one thing that like distinguishes the great builder is to be able to be like kind of consistent in their building, like be tenacious in the face of all those obstacles that all the builders go through. And this is it's unique in that way, the Ton Nest, because you have a community of people who are going through the same struggle in trying to become that next unicorn founder,
Yeah. I mean, you're not alone. There's like a whole community of builders that are trying to figure things out together. Yeah. But let's take a small pivot, because I want to talk for a hot second about DeFi, because this is something that I know, Helena, you've been paying a lot of attention to, and we're launching a campaign together, Late Night DeFi, where we're trying to drive TV out to some of the top projects on Ton. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I have to say that we are paying attention to this campaign, because we are doing this campaign together with the DeFi lead at Ton Foundation, Vlad Dijen. He recently joined Ton Foundation. Just not that recent. He's been with Ton Foundation for some time already, and that's something that we figured out that we have to do for the community. We have to do more fun and easy ways to discover DeFi, and not only the DeFi that is like, oh, it's so complex, you have to build your strategy, but also the DeFi where it's like, no, the strategies are not that crazy difficult if you know the basics.
Yeah.
It's like the building blocks, you have the legal blocks of DeFi, so you just put together a couple of steps, and that gives you the opportunity to earn, gives you the opportunity to participate, and that gives you the opportunity to be part of this new system of the finance that's hopefully is getting better and better than the traditional finance every year. So something that we are launching with Vlad right now is we are working on the late night DeFi. That's not a completely new campaign. We have done a sequence of live streams already. So what we've been talking about at these live streams, this all started with the hackathon finalists live streams. We had a late night DeFi with the hackathon finalists settled on. This project was completely built from scratch within the Town Society Europe Hub, and they were participating in the hackathon. They're now fully launched in mainnet, having the users having the first fees paid and everything. A very good case. I'm very proud of them. And so we had a live stream with them, and from that live stream we grew the idea that this should be not only the live stream, but this should be a whole campaign where you go and try those things that we are talking about. Because if we are just discussing it, there is the decentralized swaps, and then you can do the lending or you can supply. That sounds complicated.
It does sound a little complicated.
And we do have to put it. We do have to put it apart, and we do have to create a step-by-step guide. So we are going to be doing the live streams with Vlad, where we are just discussing the step-by-step instructions for the regular people like me or like you. I'm not sure if you're investing that hard.
I'm a regular person.
Yeah, but for most of us that are not degens like Vlad, we are just explaining a step-by-step guide where we are also having the campaigns with TBook, and then the users that want to learn more, the people that want to start doing the DeFi investments, they can just go and try those protocols that we are discussing with those particular actions. So let's say we have the first strategy where we are talking about a strategy where you have to, you have to stake, and then you go and supply those tokens, and then you stake the tokens into the wallet. This is just 3 steps. That's not that hard.
I think I can do that.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe not.
But if you're just talking about that might sound still kind of a bit, maybe I can do that or no. But if you're having a whole campaign where you just click on a button and it sends you to the page, and you can see that I'm actually just connecting the wallet, and I put the number of tokens that I want to stake. That's more easy. And we are adding to all of this the SBTS that of course will yield rewards. I'm not going to be revealing everything, but we are working on the rewards for this campaign too. And all of that will be the campaign that hopefully will get the next at least 100k users onboarded for sure. But of course we are all
100k users.
We are all aiming at the larger goal of onboarding 500 million TVL. So we are working on towards the larger goal.
Yeah, I think we're now in 1.5 million users currently.
Yeah,
we just saw solid.
We just saw the spike. This is super exciting for the community. I think a lot of people have been talking about the explosive growth of the community at some of the events that we've been at as well. But did you have anything to add about DeFi and how you think that the community will grow? And if you're, let's say, a project building in this space, obviously there are ways to, whether it's through incentive campaigns or other ways to just break down tasks for users to engage. That makes things easier. But are there other ways that DeFi projects can grow on top?
Grow, I mean,
or introduce themselves on top?
Yeah, I mean the easiest way honestly is, I mean, just straight up, like the advertisement works.
Yeah.
The clickers, they work.
Yeah.
Like partnering with those kind of projects.
Yeah.
Little bit investing in advertisement, it's super easy way to get your first community, to get that feedback.
Yeah.
And then take it from there. I personally, I want to see one kind of project, I have to be honest. I'm shamelessly pitching it here.
Pitch it.
But I want to see it in the hackathon, somebody to build it. So
pitch it. I'm taking notes.
This is my vote is going to go for this project in the hackathon.
Take notes.
So if you think real world assets, right? So crypto, like maybe $2 trillion now. I don't know the number, don't quote me, but like the point is like we are in some like less than maybe half of the market cap of gold, somewhere there, like about where we are in the entire industry, all the people, everything. Yeah, so, and then we have real estate, we have shares of normal companies, there's futures, like there's a lot of financial instruments, but the real world ones, so, you know, commodities and property, these kinds of things are, to me, they're very interesting because there's like such a huge market of those. And how do people normally then actually invest in those? So you either make one giant purchase, which is you buy your house or you buy a bar of gold. This is a big kind of purchase. Or what the vast majority do, they every month they usually save. It's more like a savings product, right?
Right.
So if I want to save for my retirement, there's pension, and then you put some in a mutual fund or something like this that then puts those money into some assets that are actual properties and real world assets. So a personal prediction, and what I want to see is applications that would really like focus on that, because in Telegram 1 billion users, and we got those 1 billion users, they need to be onboarded through DeFi tools into other stuff than just crypto as well. Crypto is great, tokens are wonderful, but not everybody is comfortable with the volatility. So imagine if you're able to go into your Telegram mini app and just purchase a gram of gold. And even better, every week it purchases 1 gram of gold. This is what I think is going to be like super interesting. I hope somebody will build it in the next hackathon.
So what we're talking about is kind of lowering the barrier to entry, engaging these types of capital markets, or even if they're just micro investments, it's kind of democratizing access to that.
Yeah, I mean, micro investments, if we're normal retail people, you know, you need to have something that is accessible barrier, and you know, investing in altcoin is not for the people who want to save for their pension.
It's true, and it's a little, there's a learning curve to figure out what's behind these altcoins, whereas people understand real estate, they understand gold.
Yeah.
Right? And I think this is something that's very unique for Ton as well, because you have access to that wide installed base of users, right? In I guess the Web 2 or the Web 2.5 world, that if we want to transition them into the Web 3 world, you give them ways to make economic transactions that they're familiar with. And then of course solve problems for them that, let's say, they can't resolve through traditional banking means. That's a very interesting use case. When do you see this explode? Do you think this is something that is inevitable? Or are you kind of like waiting to see if there's like a key moment, a key bar that drops that will signify that the market is ready?
You know, I believe in some determinism in future, right?
Okay.
So we're headed in a decentralized future where financial transactions will be free.
We agree.
And borderless. So this is coming, but the pace of coming is just, it's basically about you. It's about us. It's about everybody in Ton ecosystem. How we engage and how we really build it.
And I think this would be extremely interesting for, I think, a lot of users in our community who've been talking about this as well. Just how do you activate that wide base of users on Telegram? How do you give them an easy on-ramp into DeFi? So let's explore this idea further. In addition to DeFi, though, I mean, what other verticals are you excited about following? What do you think the next killer use case will be on Ton?
Well, honestly, I've been talking about the hackathon tracks, the next upcoming hackathon tracks that we are now outlining with the vertical leads. And we've been discussing that obviously besides the DeFi and besides the social and gaming use cases that are all very interesting, and we're curious to see how far will the games go, how far will the new innovative techniques in the games go, like this era of post-clickers, era of post-existing games, and all of the new ways of engage people, the new ways of building squads and creating the competitive games. We've been also talking about the infrastructure, and it's going to be a bit nerdy and boring, but we are adding the infrastructure track to the hackathon that never existed before, because as you all probably know, Ton is launching the Bitcoin teleport this autumn, and overall Ton is now building a lot lot of new infrastructure. There's a lot of things happening. There was so much hype about all of the L2s that are being built on Ton. There's like 6 teams working on different solutions. So infra is definitely now super hot. And that's definitely something that the teams are looking into, because the more teams you're onboarding, the more teams you're onboarding from other ecosystems. They're looking for different types of infrastructure that will support their needs, their solutions, whether it's DeFi or data or whatever else they're building. And we are particularly going to be looking at the bridges and at the cross-chain protocols and at the oracles. And I know that there is a couple of teams already building those solutions, and the Bitcoin teleport is coming that I'm extremely excited about, because I know lots of Bitcoin maxis that won't use anything else, but I think we could try to play with their Overton window and try to sell them the Bitcoin teleport and explain that that's something very different of how previously all of the swaps worked. And definitely the hackathon, we would be very curious to see what teams can come up with in terms of the new infra, in terms of the new solutions that would support all of the newly built things, and it would obviously support all of the newly launched and all of the upcoming projects that are bringing millions, tons of users. Because that requires a very solid infrastructure, and that's something that all of the chains are now working on, because there's so many new people coming, and obviously finally Ton and the blockchain and decentralized technologies are becoming fun and interesting for the retail users. So definitely all of the infrastructure solutions are looking interesting for us, and I think we would be very interested to see the solutions that are being built on the Telegram mini apps, especially because there's so many communities from other chains, protocols, etc. on Telegram that should be on Ton, obviously.
But that's such an important point, because Ton is uniquely positioned with its large base of users, at least those that are already using Telegram, and so you need that infra there to support the hyperscaling when those users do come. Because if we're setting that lofty goal of 500 million users by 2028, I think then that infra has to develop to support that, right? And that can also, build closer links with other layer ones as well, right? I'm curious, when you think about next verticals that explode, what kind of things, from a Ton Society's perspective, are there some things that development teams are working on that you think are very interesting that, it might not catch on, but you're like, this is interesting and I want to pay closer attention to this?
I don't know exactly that, but I do think, like, actually what you guys are doing is interesting. Like, it's true actually. So, like, we're building also at Ton Society, we're building infra but for social things. So it's like a reputation system, and we have an API which is possible for projects to use to mint SBTs. And our goal is to bring a lot of projects, a lot of partners, and help them like kind of issue and facilitate this reputation system. And actually we're kind of changing from the SBT kind of very technical term into more like achievement badges. Yeah. Because I mean, if you're in Steam and you're gaming, right? Yeah. You receive a badge, and it's.
You might as well use the same kind of things that people are familiar with in the Web2 world.
Why make it to Web3 when you don't actually need it? Yeah. So, but we're building that kind of reputation system that would then like go across the entire ecosystem. So, what we see like the real value from partners like yourself is that you have the infra to work with other projects that can issue and distribute this reputation system to their audiences. Yeah. And by this, everybody's pie grows bigger because everybody understands how the audience behaves better, or like not better, but like in more detail you understand how a specific user would
more deeply
work. Yeah, and then it allows projects to target, right? So if you wanna have the killer airdrop wallet for DeFi projects, you just use DeFi projects. You get SBTs, and every single DeFi project is going to target you in their airdrops. It's necessarily this is not going to happen because we don't know what kind of use cases there are out there. So there can be any kinds. Also, there can be gatekeeping. So maybe some protocol is only accessible to users that have a certain point level or
Yeah.
certain kind of authentication. Everything is possible, but for us, like the most interesting thing. I mean, maybe other people have different things. For me personally, to see kind of building this like system of Lego blocks,
Yeah.
and then seeing how everybody combines it.
It's super exciting because this is an amazing time with all the users that are now coming onto Ton. Like there's going to be a lot of activity upcoming.
And I love the narrative of targeting. I think now it's becoming more and more easy for me to work with the projects from the ecosystem on the community campaigns, because I usually talk to the marketers, and it's so easy to pitch the SBTs to the marketers. That's just the no-brainer solution. I'm like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do the analytics, but in a Web3 way, right? Like that's just the SBTs, and we distribute them to those people that are doing the on-chain actions, because we're all on-chain, right? And everyone gets it from the first time. I don't have to explain. That's not something that you have to explain to anyone. I think SBTs are very cool because that's probably one of the few blockchain concepts that you don't have to explain. And it's becoming so addictive for the users.
It is, and we know it from personal experience. Launching these campaigns, they love the sold out tokens.
I was never collecting any on-chain things, but I think this NFTs, swaps in the EVM ecosystem and SBTs, on-chain badges on Ton, they're just sticking to me somehow. I can't. When I see one, why wouldn't I meet it?
It's shiny.
Yes.
I want that.
Yes. And we're creating so fun ones. We are now running this GM SBT is a very simple but cute project with Victor, the community lead, who's just posting the GM posts on Twitter every day. So we are rating the SBTs that are shiny and cute, and we have sun. The sun is smiling.
We know how to get you to mint the SBT.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, imagine when those SBTs change something in your app. You have a mini app.
Yeah.
You own an SBT and it becomes golden or blue.
You can gamify it, absolutely. Yeah. That's really cool.
And I have to say that's gonna happen. I have an SBT campaign that's coming. It's been in progress for a couple of months because the guys had to build, but that's gonna happen.
Really?
Yes.
That's super exciting.
Exciting.
Yes.
You heard it here.
That's alpha.
Okay.
That's gonna be,
That is very exciting. I just wanted to quickly get in some questions from our community because we have a lot of development teams that we work with, and of course we see ourselves as a link that connects Ton Society to these development teams, and I just chose a few to run by you and just see what you guys think. So here's a question from Town Square Labs, and they are an organization boosting the Ton dev ecosystem in the Asia Pacific region, backed by Ton Foundation. So their question is, what strategies are Ton Society employing to better attract and incentivize top-tier developers in the Asia Pacific region?
Hackathon, perhaps? We're running a massive hackathon.
Hackathon.
Really massive.
The massive hackathon.
The massive. It's the only hackathon
The only
we need to know
hackathon.
about. It's like we did the same in spring, and we had maybe 4,000 participants, 1,000 projects submitted, 1,000 actual on-chain mini app deployments.
Wow.
It's massive, and I think now we got into that pretty rushed, and I think this one, the one we're going to run now in autumn, we're expecting even better results. So basically, difficult to say, but what we know for sure, 19 boot camps over the weekend.
Whoa.
Yeah. Helena, do you
Who's
want to talk
running
more
these
about
boot
that?
camps?
Well,
It's tiring.
yeah.
Oh my God.
How do you have energy for this?
I have to say that we have a very good and very strong community of the ambassadors and the hubs. So we have people to rely on, and that helps because there is no single person that actually runs every bootcamp. We don't have Kate, head of hubs, and you met her probably at the Korea Blockchain Week, and she's managing all of these bootcamps, and she's actually the person that leads the bootcamp project. But she has all of the different DRIs on the spots, and on the ground there are people that are helping with each of the particular bootcamp and that are taking the lead to organize the bootcamps, which obviously makes each bootcamp unique and very interesting for the attendees. And each bootcamp this time also will have cute recreational activities like yoga, like workout, like
Oh,
tea ceremony.
tea ceremony.
There is gonna be
Oh.
there's gonna be a lot of personalization and very individual things for each of the bootcamp in particular. And that will all lead to the same goal of applying to the massive online hackathon, which is why we call this massive, is because it's 2 months long. So the teams that are building during this long hackathon that are applying to the hackathon, they are coming in with very strong and solid solutions. And because there is a $2 million prize pool, so we have
2 million.
we have lots of prizes
2
in
million
cash.
prize
It's
pool.
more than $500,000 in cash that we are giving to the teams, but also the Ton Ventures soft commitments for the investments, open league incentives, the bootcamp prize pool, which is separate. So everyone that's coming to the bootcamp can also compete for the 5K prize pool on the spot. So there is lots of things happening, and that's why during the online hackathon, we have 19 offline bootcamps and 20 online workshops and partner tracks that are coming. And it's something that I'm personally very excited about, that I wanted to see at all of the Ton hackathons. I really want to have the opportunity to get the key existing projects to onboard more builders and to kind of just showcase like what's out there in the ecosystem, what are those blocks that already exist, what can you already use in your apps without building that from scratch, so that you can focus on the main secret sauce of your app, and so that you can build the best out of your idea, instead of doing here and there all of the small things, just trying to put it all together.
You guys are making it easy to get started. For sure, and here's just one more question from our community. This is a question from Go Plus. They're an open, permissionless, and user-driven modular user security layer for Web3. Their question is, what kind of role might user security infrastructure play on Ton? So how might Ton prioritize and promote the growth of security-related projects?
Well, as of this one, I think that with the user security now on Ton, the main goal is to try and help all of the new coming users, because we do have lots of the users that have been onboarded via all of the games and all of the social projects, and now we have to educate them, and we have to help them, and we have to make sure that they are staying safe and that they know the basics, because it's all usually about the basics. Scammers are not coming with sophisticated solutions. It's always like a DM or asking for a seed phrase, whatever. That's always so simple. And the security leaks that are happening with the apps, they are usually as well simple. So we are looking to just help all of the new coming users, and obviously to help and support the newly built DeFi projects with their audits and with their security. Because once you start onboarding lots of users to a DeFi project, you always have to make sure that you don't expose them to the risks, or you eliminate the risks and you mitigate the risks as much as possible, since that's very serious. That's not a game. The game might be less serious, but with the DeFi products, you do have to pay.
Then you're losing real assets, and so that could be one of those infra use cases that you're talking about that will support the development of
that would be very
ecosystem.
good. I actually have seen one of the projects that apply to the Ton Nest, and hopefully they are getting in as soon as possible, that are building the scam detect inside Telegram, so that anyone could just go and do a quick check on the apps that they're using. That's a very technical, I think a very heavy solution to build, but if they succeed, that would be, I think, one of the killer apps that everyone could use on a daily basis. If you are a blockchain user and you are trying out the new apps, you do need to check what you're doing. And that's not only that you have to create the new wallets, be careful with the funds, do not store a lot of funds on the same wallet, but also that's about the apps that you are interacting with anyway. And I think this kind of mini apps would be very helpful for all of the new users, and that's where we kind of have to push them. I think that between the entrance in the ecosystem, you start interacting, and DeFi products, you have to do the intermediary stop, where you do some education, security education.
That's right.
You start learning about what's the what's the ecosystem about, and what are the security solutions, and what's the basic guideline to stay safe, and then you go forward.
So education, like with all things, is very important to onboard
And that's
users.
also a very popular type of the apps that are being built within the hackathon and the Ton Nest. There's lots of Ton Academy, Ton Education, Ton Education courses type of products that I think really makes sense, and that shows what the community has the need for.
Yep.
If builders are building that, they are usually building something that they personally would use. That's how we all start.
How we start.
We just come up with something that we would use, and then we kind of trying to find. We're not trying to find the users for our product. We're trying to find the like-minded people, the friends that have the same problems.
You always start with the friends, the family. You guys are super busy. Thank you so much for your time. I just want to close with one question. And it's more just, it's not even about Web3, but it's more about just this journey that we're all on called life. And I just wanted to ask both of you, so if we think about how the things that we're working on and how they will grow and develop. And so if you could imagine yourself 5 years from now, whatever that may be, whatever you're doing, wherever you're located, what would you 5 years from now tell you in the present? What advice would the future you give the present you?
Wow. Okay. This requires processing.
I know, I forgot to bring the whiskey. We need, but I'm curious because I always want to just know more about the people that are working in Web3. Sometimes you're always working remote. It's always decentralized. But I think there's some just incredible people and amazing stories. And so I always love to ask this question to people I talk to.
I think something that I started focusing more recently, and that's a kind of just a very early beginning. So I think in the 5 years from now, I'll get to the peak point of realizing the whole concept. But I think overall, I'm kind of now looking into going deeper into things and going deeper into the interpersonal relationships. I think that really matters a lot. Building a proper relationship, not the network of partners that you only met once and you exchange the Telegram contacts, but really building the connections with the people.
Going deeper.
Going deeper into having something in common with them, and overall having lots of things in common with people. That just really helps. And that's what I started noticing recently. It's probably been like last 2 years that every person that I connect with, I notice that we have something in common. And that is a marvelous feeling.
It is. Especially in these times with the world that we live in, that you find the commonalities that bring people together.
I think growing up I was always an underdog.
Right.
And I always had a feeling that I never had something to share with the people, and now it's changed. And now being an adult, this is a very nice feeling that first of all I do have something in common with people, but second of all it is something that you can gain actually. That's not given, but it's very easy to gain things in common by going deeper into things.
Thank you. That's a wonderful answer.
Yeah. I think for me more like in the lifespan of a person, you're born without nothing and you're gonna die without nothing, right? And what you have after that is some sort of movement in the direction. Maybe you created some outcome. So I think many years ago I like made a career choice personally, kind of to go into Web3 because there is a way to generate a change after I'm dead. Like hopefully for the world that's a little bit better, particularly in the data and anyways like freedom and privacy type of stuff. So yeah, maybe it's something related to that, like it's a long journey. And
it's a long journey, stay with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's how do you say, hills and downhill, up hills and downhills.
Yeah, but the journey is worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you, Ekin.
Awesome.
Helena,
Thank you so much.
you have a busy week in front of you, a busy night. we're all excited. We'll see each other later this evening.
Yeah, we'll see you tonight.
Thank you so much for chatting, and thank you all for joining on the live
Awesome.
stream.
Thanks,
Appreciate
everybody.
it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for our backstage.
Awesome.